Alright, hey everybody. So this video we're going to look at where to buy inline skates for the skate to ski drills that we're going to be doing in the other videos. And I've been inline skating since like 91 or so, and I have bought like 4 inline skates in my whole life. So I literally, and most of them were crap. There was one pair of Salomon inline skates that I bought long ago, and I just those were it. I tried to buy other pairs and it didn't work out, so I kept using those ones forever. And recently, like a year ago, I ended up having to throw them away. So I went to buy new inline skates, and I discovered that the inline skating is still small and awkward as a thing. But they product diversified like everything else, so there's a lot of varieties, and it was very confusing. So this video will help quickly distill down to what you're looking for. So this website, inlineskatewarehouse.com, I don't endorse it or anything like that, but it is where I bought my skates because they had a large selection of manufacturers to choose from, basically. And what I found was, you can see here on the left the different types of inline skates that they sell. So they have recreational, cross-training, speed, kids, urban, aggressive, freestyle, and all-terrain. And the bottom line here is we're after a freestyle slalom skate or an urban skate, and all these other categories really don't apply. If you go to Rollerblade, the commercial brand, they have a skate to ski program, and they target a type of rollerblade to sell for that program. And if you looked at Rollerblade up, it's actually a cross-training type rollerblade rather than a freestyle or an urban rollerblade. And really, I think we're better suited in these categories. Now, they tend to be more expensive, so that's probably the drawback. So what are we looking for? So we click on freestyle slalom because that sounds about right. Because a lot of the drills we're doing are slaloming type drills. You find these very precise carbon fiber type boots. So that's one key component, is the boot. And then these really rigid frames. So the other key component is the frame that holds your wheels. And they're not cheap. They can be very expensive for these carbon fiber setup. $680 for this setup right here. So those are a lot of money. And they're also looking at them and watching people's YouTube reviews. They're not super durable. They're comfortable. They provide very good transfer of your energy and pressure and weight through the boot to the frame and the wheels, but they're very expensive, and I don't think they're all that durable. So I actually ordered this pair right here, these F6S skates at first, and they were just terrible. I returned them after putting them on once because I sized them according to the sizing chart, and they still didn't fit. And this frame, a lot of these, this type of boot, this more urban focused boot, has a hard, there's a hard outer shell and then an inner liner. And what I found was that the outer shell was so hard that I don't even know why they put laces on it. You can't tighten it up. They don't help. So I turned them in and kept searching for something else. So for the freestyle slalom category, they're meant to be very rigid. I'm going to say lightweight, but very rigid with really good control. So a fairly tight-fitting boot, so good control from your foot through the wheels. So you can do slaloming and things like that. Now, the catch is that the high precision ones really aren't that durable. If you look at the urban category, you'll see there's a lot more, and all the skates that we saw before are actually in here as well, because they're listed in both places. And really, that was the big difference, is they just list more skates in the urban category because it's a bigger market. So here's those same skates for $680, just listed here. So I watched some YouTube reviews. I'll give you guys the reference to that here in a second. At least the one review I watched to get an idea of what to buy. And what I ended up buying were FR180s, and that's this skate right here. And the FR180, it has this medium fill, it's not really a medium fill, but a smallish boot in the foot area. It turns out it's actually quite chunky and big up here, but then good wheels and frame and whatnot. And So this is kind of what I think you guys should look at buying, is an urban skate, so that the boot is a hard shell with a separate inner liner, like a ski boot. And then for the frame, they sell these frames in like 3-wheel configurations, or 4-wheel configurations, or 5-wheel configurations. And the standard we're looking for is a 4-wheel by 80 millimeter wheel size, so 4 by 80. That's going to be the most common that you'll see, and that gives us the best combination of friction and kind of wheel edge holding for the drills we'll be doing. When you go to 3 wheels, these, because they're larger diameter, you can roll faster. We're not necessarily after speed, so these are good for like if you're doing a lot of skate stepping and moving quickly. But for slaloming, they start to, I think, to not perform well because the amount of friction is lower, and it's easier to skid and lose your balance on them and crash. And then for 5-wheel or 6-wheel even, those, they give you even more stability, but then you're getting too much friction, and then it becomes hard to slalom and do these other drills. So 4-wheel, 4 by 80 is kind of the spot. So these FR1s, would I buy them again? I think probably the FR2 is just as good and cheaper, or maybe I'd buy it in blue. I don't know. Okay, so not having a basis, because it's like a lot of places in Europe you can go to a skate shop and demo skates, but in the United States, if you go to a skate shop, you're going to buy a hookah or a vaping pipe, drug pipe of some type, because they don't sell the same stuff. So I was watching YouTube videos to get an idea, and the best video I found to get a really kind of common sense, non-commercial idea of what is a good skate and what is maybe a skate to avoid, I found this one guy from the UK. You see his name, Whitey Skater. And this particular video, he goes over all the skates he's bought since he started skating, and he hasn't been skating for that long, just a couple of years. But you can see this is the FR1 here, and so I'd recommend looking at you people's videos and seeing if you can maybe find some sort of reference that you think is reasonable, and then make your purchase based off of that. Because this, I did return that one pair that I had mentioned, and it took like 2 weeks to return it, get reimbursed, and then that enabled me to order a new pair. And I won't be returning the new pair because they work, and I've used them enough that you couldn't return them if you wanted to. Okay, so that's the idea of the type of skates to buy: an urban skate with a hard shell and liner, and then a 4 by 80 millimeter wheel frame setup. And they range in price. So the one I bought was $360. That's kind of a upper mid-range price. If you look at some of these other brands, like the one I originally bought, it's on sale right now for $200. One thing to point out is that while there's a dizzying array of, like, this Power Slide company just has tons and tons of available skates, or skates for sale, they're all sold out. So you might think you found the right skate, and then you'll find that it's actually not. You can't buy it. It's like it has in one size, and it's for a very small foot. So that's the downside. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys find skates that you can use for the drills in Volume 1 and Volume 2. I'll see you guys later.